Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all forgive my voice. This spring weather is not it's not voting well for me. But welcome, 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 welcome to our town hall tonight. Welcome to our vote counts. I hope everyone has had a wonderful day. My day was pretty productive. I would say productive. That productive is a good word. So I hope everyone else had a pretty productive day. The temperature is trying to go back up here in the DMV. Told y'all it's bipolar. It decides what it wants to do based on the day. I am Melanie, and I will be hosting this town hall with Miss Tamara Taylor, who is running for a state seat for basically their House of Representatives, but they call it an assembly. So the state assembly in West Nevada, not West Virginia. Look, my eyes. In West Virginia. Please come in, tap, tap, tap the live, share the live out. Hopefully the candidate will be here soon, and we could bring them on up. Oh, yeah. I'm tired. This administration has made me tired. It's like you don't know which way to look. You don't know what's happening. It's like just so much going on in our country right now. And like I said, you don't know which way to look. We thought the story was Iran. That's what we thought. We thought the story was Iran. Turns out the story is Melania. Melania is trying to hint. Don't you stop until you find all the people. So the story is not Iran. Iran is yesterday's news at this point. I don't know which way to look. What are we doing, people? Well, you know what? Exactly how y'all, the word on the street is. She said, I ain't got nothing to do with it, but I can tell you who do. But honestly, I know most of us in this room are not surprised. We were screaming this from the top of our lungs, from the bottom of our lungs, from our lungs all over. We were screaming that this is what was going to be the results of another administration under his power. So we're truly not surprised. We're just sad and mad that we have to go through it. Yeah. So again, I don't know which way to look. Melania came out and told us some news today that she is not involved. But don't you stop looking until you find out everybody who is. She said, help me. She was blinking twice, y'all. I promise you. Melania was blinking twice. Help me. Because it was so random. Help me. I can't get out of this thing. I signed this damn prenup. Help me. Y'all, we got to help Melania. Anyway, y'all, I really hope we get to talk to Tamara Taylor today. I have not been to Nevada yet. It is one of the places. It is one of the places I do plan on going. I want to go to Vegas really bad. So hopefully, and I have a cousin who currently lives there. And so, yeah, I will get to Nevada eventually. I will. But you see these beautiful things right here, these cherry blossoms, and that's what got my voice sounding like this. Thank you, DC, as in my Jill Scott voice. Thank you, DC, for causing me to sound like somebody called me yesterday a boomer. Somebody called me a boomer yesterday. First of all, boomer where? Second of all, I am X, baby. Like the X-Men. I am the X-Men. Okay? And what did the X-Men do? The X-Men came and saved this country, saved this world. And I am an X-Man. Okay? So, miss me with that boomer. I'm an X-Man. And I'm here to save all the mutants. That's who the real Democratic Party is. We're the mutants. And I am part of the mutiny, and we're here to save the world. I know it looks like we're trying to destroy it, but we're really here to save it. So, I'm an X-Man. I am Mystique. Yes, I am. Bianca, I said I was going to get me a car. You know how people like, what's the word I'm looking for? They like wrap their cars. I said I was going to wrap me a car like Mystique. That it was going to turn colors. Like it was going to morph in the sunlight. Yep. Hello, blessings. We're waiting on Tamara. I'm gonna guess it's Tamara, but I'll find out. And the top of the roof is gonna have red. It's gonna be orange. The body's gonna be her dark greenish color, and in the sunlight, it's gonna morph into something different. I don't know what the difference is, but it's gonna shapeshift. I already got the vision, so I am Mystique. I will shapeshift on you. So, not a boomer, just part of the X-Men. Okay? And we're here to save the day. We are going to make sure that every Congress in this country, state, federal, every local council will have the people it needs to have. So does that mean the opposite side would be Magneto? No. No, Magneto is a MAGA, okay? He flipped on us, and Magneto shouldn't have flipped, and then he tried to flip back. We don't want you back. Magneto is MAGA right now. No, thank you. So, again, we are the X-Men. Her TikTok is deactivated. Maybe she didn't make it. When can anyone look and see when it's Nevada's yeah, okay, so the wheels could have rims that look like Xavier's wheelchair wheels, maybe. So can anyone? No, she's still running. She's still running. Okay, but her TikTok page is deactivated. Did we look for a different one? Maybe, possibly. Y'all, that's okay. What I just said, I said our goal is to make sure that every assembly, local, state, federal, will have the people that it needs to have. Everyone. And we stand for candidates of integrity. And integrity means that you email us back and say, hey, I won't be able to make it. That is integrity. So we stand for candidates of integrity. Xavier, would you like to come up here and talk to me? Because I wanted to, we are, I just told everyone, we are um, the X-Men. Those of us part of Gen X. We are the X-Men. We look like the bad guys. We look, the mutants, they thought the mutants was the bad guys. But the mutants was really the ones who were going to fix everything, who was trying to save everyone. So we are, people try to blame the Generation X for what we got happening right now. And we're the ones that's going to fix it. That'd be great. I love to talk to you, Xavier. At any given time, any given day, I would love to talk to you. OVC, if you can, 1 second. Are we still trying, or is that a wrap? Let me make sure first, because I'm gonna change this background. This background over here.
Right
Oh
on.
no, not you, not you. Not you in the teleporting. Okay, we want to give her a few minutes, about 10 minutes. Okay, perfect. Okay, hold on. Xavier, give me 1 moment. I think we may be getting a candidate. I'm not sure. Just hearing back from the team. Okay. Yes, I think we will be having our candidate tonight. She is messaging back. So we'll see. We'll see what she says. But in the meantime, if you have not gone to our Instagram page, please go follow that. If you have not gone to our Facebook page, go follow that. We are also on YouTube, the Tube of You, and we are on Threads, and we have a Discord. So if you're in a Discord, type in our vote counts. Join us on the Discord. Join us on, like I said, on our Instagram. Join us on our Facebook page. Check out the if you missed a town hall. If you missed the town hall, you can always go catch them on YouTube. We record them. We take the recordings from here and we upload them to YouTube. So if you ever missed anyone's live, this guy right here, Xavier Kerrigan, who is running in Iowa's District 3. Awesome candidate. Go check out his live on YouTube. Hello, AJ. Welcome. Please go check out his live. Even if you're not in Iowa. He's trying to be a candidate in um in the capital, in the US Capitol. So he will also be affecting your life somehow, some way. So you may want to just go check him out, see what he got to say. If you thought Jasmine Crockett was a firecracker, Xavier is gonna get in the business. He's gonna tell him what he got to say. So absolutely. So check out Xavier, follow him right there in the comments. If you have not followed him, again, if you need to follow any of our platforms that will scorch the earth, I know that's right. Please make sure you are doing that, because we are, we are all over the place. We are trying to get this word out. Like I said, we're going to make sure that we have the people that we need in all of the assemblies in this country. All right, perfect. Yes, indeed. All right, there you go. I see you, ma'am. I see you, I see you, I see you. But thank you for being willing to fill in, Xavier. But we're going to bring our candidate up and we're going to get this conversation started. I know these time zones be just upsetting folks. We need to come up with a new time zone called the United States time zone, and it's the same time everywhere. Hello, is it Tamara or Tamara?
It's Tamara.
All right, welcome, Tamara.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Let's see, are you
Perfect.
able to get on camera? Yes, let me send you an invite. All right, she gonna get it together, y'all. Perfect. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi.
All right, I'm Melanie. ButterMel is here, but I'm Melanie. You can call me Melanie. You call me Mel. You can call me ButterMel. Either way, I'm gonna answer. Okay, we got it. We got an echo. No,
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good.
Okay.
All right, all right. So let me introduce you to me and the crew. Okay, we are Our Vote Counts. We are a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, accountability, and action, we're building a stronger democracy, one informed vote at a time. So I'm glad you could join us today. We are talking with Tamara. I said that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tamara Taylor. Let me tell y'all a little bit about Tamara. She is a Nevada community advocate who grew up in a working class family. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, kind of because it's a little echo in there.
Oh, okay.
She was raised by a mechanic and a hairdresser, y'all. Okay, where she learned the value of hard work and community. Okay, she has called Henderson, Nevada, her home since 1994, attending local schools. Hold on. Let me do that. All right. She attended local schools and earning her degree from UNLV and a master's in healthcare administration from Colorado State University. Now, with more than a decade of experience in healthcare, Tamara has worked as a caseworker and advocate, focusing on improving access to compassionate and equitable care for underserved communities. She is also a wife, she's a mother of two, and a major dog lover. I've seen some dogs in her profile. So we're going to have her tell us about her dogs and why she decided now was the time to run for a state seat. So I'm going to send you an invite to unmute and you can go ahead and give us your favorite dog and why you decided to run.
Oh, well, my favorite dog is my soul dog. We unfortunately had to put her to sleep last year. It's only been a year. And she was a French Mastiff bully mix. So she was a big girl, but but very loving, a gentle giant. She taught my kids how to crawl, and she was with me through miscarriages and job changes and everything. So I'm still learning to do it without her.
Well, we miss you, girl. We miss you.
I did end up deciding to run. You know, our district has been under the control of Republican of a Republican since 2012. So there hasn't been much change in quite some time in the district. And not only that, I've lived here almost the entire time. Nobody's ever knocked on my door. Nobody's ever reached out to me. I've never been invited to a town hall. So I just don't really feel represented. So that had a lot to do with why I'm running. But outside of that, I've had a lot of experiences in the community and with underserved populations that make me feel like we could just be doing better by our neighbors. Always around, nationally, locally. But I know that these things start locally, and local politics really matter. So if I was going to get involved beyond the community organizer aspect that I was already in, it was going to be in state assembly. I really do love policy. I'm kind of a policy wonk, unfortunately, because people get bored with that. But I really think we need a fighter in these places. Our legislature needs fighters. I'm a rabble rouser from the outside of the legislature. It's time for me to be a rabble rouser inside the legislature.
So you said, you just noticed that your district's been under Republican control all this time.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen much change. You haven't seen much transparency. You haven't seen much giving back.
Our neighbors are struggling.
You saw that last year. You saw it the year before.
Yeah.
Okay.
The year before, and the year before that, and the
somebody
year before
got to step up.
Right. It's just been too much of the same, and the same is not good. And our neighbors are struggling, like truly struggling. The rents are high, the food cost is high, gas is outrageous, healthcare is obscene. There's a lot of things that we can do for our community at the state level, but the elected representatives in place are too busy with their own means and not doing things for our neighbors. So,
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
So it seems like there's a little delay. So just bear with us. Just give me a second to finish, and then I'll give you a second to finish so we can make sure we're not cutting each other off. But Melissa Hardy is current incumbent, or is she also running?
She is the current incumbent, and she's also running for re-election. I am also in a primary race, a Democratic primary race. There are 2 other candidates in my primary race, but they're not very involved in local politics, so I don't know a ton about them, unfortunately. But I definitely believe I am the candidate in the primary that is most likely to be able to knock Melissa Hardy out of that seat. Not only because I am a grassroots organizer, I am a locally known community organizer, I'm also a DSA organizer. So I learned about public pressure campaigns. I know how to use them. I've done so. And I think we can do that in the legislature. And I feel like I'm the best candidate to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to get started with the town hall. I noticed, let's see, your district is entirely in Clark County. It is part of Las Vegas metro area, centered around Henderson, but nearby areas like Paradise and surrounding suburban communities. Okay. Your population of your district is about 78,000 people. You have a very good mixture of very diverse district. It's somewhere around about 40 to 45% white, 31% Hispanic, around 10 to 12% Black, 10% Asian. Yeah, that is a very diverse district. I love it. I absolutely love it. So the way it works is I have about 5 topics. I'm gonna try to get through as many as we can since we started a little bit late. But just answer the best way you can, and we'll get through as many questions as we can. In between those, I'll try to throw in what we call rapid fire. Rapid fire is just like quick 1-word yes or no answers. to the questions. So it could go really quickly, really fast. If we need to elaborate, we will. But typically, it's just like yes, no, yes, no. Okay. You
Sounds
ready?
good.
All right.
I am.
So our first topic is healthcare. So you said that the U.S. spends more on healthcare than any other country, but still has the worst outcomes. And you supported Medicare for all since 2017. For families in your district, um, what would be the first real step at the state level to move more towards that kind of system, and your how would it impact access to local providers?
Well, there are two things specifically that I want to work on right out the gates for my district. I really think in order to provide quality health care, we need to protect those that are providing that care. So I intend on bringing back shield laws up to the legislature. Shield laws are laws that protect providers of marginalized communities like LGBTQ and Black and Brown folks and abortion providers. These physicians should not
Say AB.
fear. Yeah,
That word,
these.
ABORTION. They don't like that whole word, so we usually say AB on
Oh,
the tip top. So just
AB.
one.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
Women's healthcare providers.
There you go. Exactly.
That's right. I believe that providers of healthcare shouldn't be afraid to treat their patients for conditions and things that they need to live their lives. And here in Nevada, if we're going to allow folks to get the healthcare that we need to protect the people providing it. So that would be the first tangible thing that I would do to make healthcare more accessible. But then on top of that, I really want to explore state-funded healthcare. This is actually something that worked at the state level. Romney Care was put forth by a Republican, and it was a state-funded healthcare plan that did work. And in fact, they used that model to build off on the ACA, which provided a lot of healthcare to folks that never had it before. So I really think it's something that we can do. A lot of the community members are definitely on board. Healthcare is a source of, of contention here in Nevada, not only because of the expense, but also because we lack in providers. We have provider shortages. We have nursing shortages. Another thing that I'd like to do to address healthcare is I'd like to make us a hub for medical training. We can expand into our local universities and our local public education institutions and provide state funding that entices folks to not only come to learn in Nevada, but also to stay. Because training lots of folks is great, but if they immediately leave to go to another state that pays them better, it doesn't help us. So in order for us to get closer to universal care, I think we can do it at the state level first.
Well, you say you want to do have the education portion basically be a staple in Nevada. But, with your background working over a decade in healthcare, including as a caseworker, you've seen firsthand where the system falls short. So, what is one specific reform, whether it be mental health access, provider shortages, or cost, that you believe could most immediately improve care for working families in your community?
Most immediately improve care, I would probably seek for additional resources for families that are going through healthcare crises. A lot of people kind of find themselves in this position where they end up in the hospital and then they leave with a gigantic bill and they don't know how to pay it, and there's not a lot of resources for them, and then they end up going into bankruptcy. A lot of bankruptcies are actually medical bankruptcies because people just can't afford the cost of healthcare. So I would like to look at additional resources for folks struggling to pay their medical bills in the state of Nevada. Because I've been that person too.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Me too. They still sending bills to my house. I'm like,
yeah.
make these bills back. I'm not. I don't got it right now. I don't have it. All
Right.
right. So I just want to remind everyone, if you have a question for Miss Tamara, please put it in the comments, or you can request up and ask her yourself. I promise neither one of us bite. And we're really nice and really good to look at. So come on up and ask your questions, or you can put it in the chat and I will read them off. Our next topic is going to be on education. Now, on your website, you mentioned that about 70% of Clark County School District campuses qualify for Title I support, which highlights how many students come from lower income households. How would you work at the state level to ensure those schools receive the resources they need while also improving overall outcome across the district? That's a big number.
Well, here in Nevada, we have had multiple programs that we were told the taxes off of were supposed to go to our education programs, and they did not. So I really want to address that by introducing things like wealth taxes, higher corporate taxes. A lot of the corporations here in Nevada, I'll give you an example of one. Amazon, my work sits across from an Amazon distribution location, and I watch about 30 to 40 Amazon trucks, those large sprinter vans, leave every single morning, and those are all electric vehicles, which is great, but they don't pay the fuel tax. So they're using our public resources, our roads, and they are no longer paying into the fuel tax that goes into rebuilding the roads. That is one example of how we could turn around and raise some taxes on local large businesses that are using resources in the community and not paying back into the community. A lot of those things can be earmarked for education. And not only that, I think we need to pay our teachers more. It's very hard to want to stay in this job and want to dedicate your life to education when you can't put food on the table, or you have to have 2 or 3 jobs to do that. The average life or the average work life of a teacher in CCSD is 3 years. You know, how can we retain teachers? How can we have children feel comfortable and known in their schools if their teachers can't afford to stay? So I really think that putting more money into our education programs, not just for the schools themselves, but for the teachers and the staff, will make a huge difference on what our children are getting out of it, what the teachers are getting out of it. And we have to put our money where our mouth is. We are very low when it ranked. Nevada is very low in ranking for education, so we've got a lot of work to do, and we're not going to do it by, putting our poor teachers in the poorhouse and making them struggle every single day. That's not how we're going to improve education.
At all.
We need to support our teachers.
I mean, well, another thing that, they also face and probably wouldn't keep the teachers either is overcrowding. Clark County School District has one of the largest, is one of the largest in the country, with over 300,000 students. And it has faced challenges with overcrowding, teacher shortages. From your perspective, what structural changes, whether it be funding, class sizes, or the governance of it, would best support the students and teachers in fast-growing communities like Henderson?
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to breaking up the district. The district is much too large, what's too big for its britches, and it's operating like a small district, which is a problem. I definitely think we could alleviate some of the challenges if we broke up the district and allowed ourselves to more specifically designate money to where it's needed in certain parts of the district, because certain areas of CCSD need different things than other communities. Some communities need more ESL teachers. Some communities need more math specialists. If we can break up the district into smaller, more manageable portions, I believe that we can manage it a lot better. Right now, it's just too big. It's a beast of a district, and it's very hard to kind of keep it under control and keep costs under control and manage where the money is going because it's just so large of a district.
Well, I mean, Nevada's growing, and I'm sure your district is the district where people tend to settle. They don't want to be out in the deserts. And so they're like, let me get over here in Vegas, and where the jobs are, where, life is happening. So, and yet they haven't done anything to, address
Yes.
that. And yes.
We're still operating with a small town mentality, I think, and that is part of the problem. And I can tell you, I don't blame them because the growth happened so fast. When I moved here, there was still desert in between Henderson and Las Vegas. There's no desert in between them anymore. A lot of things. I mean, they just built, and now Henderson and Las Vegas kiss.
Wow.
I've been here a while.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was desert. You couldn't build in the desert, but I guess you can.
Oh, you bet you can. You bet
Oh,
you
wow.
can. And we like to build.
Keep people coming.
Part of the reason that Nevada has grown so much, especially Clark County, is because of our infrastructure projects. The Hoover Dam basically started our community, started Boulder City, then grew off into this beautiful thing that is Las Vegas. And we really still kind of move with the small town ideas, but we're not a small town anymore, not even close.
That's an understatement. I have a cousin that lives in Vegas right now. And she's originally from DC, lived in South Carolina a good little bit of her life, lived in Louisiana for a little while, lived in Texas for a little while, but she loves Nevada. She loves Vegas. That's where she is now. She's pretty settled there. So, yeah.
I do too. I'll probably be here forever.
Yes. Well, I'm going to remind everyone, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or you can request up and ask your questions yourself. You don't have to be from Nevada to make sure that the people in Nevada get the answers they need. So maybe someone has the same thought that you have, and she can answer that question, and you would help out this Nevada constituent in making sure that she's the right person for the job. But while you guys decide which questions you're going to ask, I'm going to go into our first rapid fire. So what 3 core values are essential for a political leader?
Honesty, integrity, and transparency.
Sounds good to me. That would be what I'll be looking for in my political leader.
Me too.
Would you vote to expand Medicaid further?
Absolutely.
Okay. Should gambling laws be reformed?
I definitely think that Las Vegas is going to face some challenges with the introduction of the poly markets, and the online gambling has really taken quite a bite out of our industry, one of our main industries. So it would be something that we would want to consider, yes.
All right. Describe your leadership style in one word.
One word. Cooperative?
Okay. All right. I don't need you. Don't cooperate too much. Get the other side hell, okay? Don't cooperate too much. But I understand.
I do like to pass things. But I'm a very good convincer. How about that?
Okay, good. You good at convincing people how they should vote with you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What is the biggest issue facing your community right now?
My community specifically would be rent costs, cost of living. And everything ties into that, unfortunately. Grocery store costs, rent costs, power, utilities costs. Power is something that we're teetering back and forth as NB Power decides how they're going to charge us in some new and fancy way. And do things like surge pricing in the grocery stores. And these are things that we can address locally and we can limit to kind of protect our residents. So it would definitely be cost of living. I would put that at number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been given a bill. And in this bill, you will get $5 million for your district for educational purposes. However, in this bill, the other side is proposing that they should be able to, or they would be able to display the 10 Commandments in the schools. Are you a yay or nay on that bill?
I'm an A on that bill. Unfortunately, I do believe in the separation of church and state.
I mean, but your district needs this $5 million for the schools.
We can work around it. We can find some plans for how we would like to do it. We can display the 10 Commandments with the tenets of every other religion if they like, and we'll do it all together. We'll do it all. It'll be a party. But we're not going to isolate one group. We're not going to raise one group above the other, especially in a place where children are and where they're learning how to interact in a community of people that are different than them.
Good answer. Great answer. What gives you hope?
The people I organize with. I'm gonna get real corny. I am on the older side. I am 40 years old, for all you young people out there. And we really did love ourselves some Mr. Rogers. And he did talk about looking for the helpers. And it wasn't until I was completely just tore up over Trump's first term and the work I was doing at that time that I went out and I looked for the helpers. And when I found them, I saw a beautiful community. I am 40. Yes, I know. Organizing with folks that do mutual aid, community outreach, community advocacy, disability advocacy, working with people that really stick their neck out for other people gives me hope. And it gives me the strength and the courage to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you said, your biggest issue in your district, and we're back to the platform, is cost of living, which happens to be my next topic. So you talk about families struggling with food, housing, medication costs. And we're seeing that in Nevada, where a family may need around $238,000 to live comfortably, while medium income is closer to $92,000. What specific policies would you prioritize first to close that gap for working families in your district?
Well, a lot of folks that are struggling with housing costs, they're actually working full-time jobs and they're living in their cars or they're living in weeklies. And that is something that we just can't have. I really want to look at housing first programs, programs where housing is provided first to the community, and then they can go forward and build themselves up to get out of that situation. Many of our current housing programs are wait lists, forms that you have to fill out. You might not hear back for a while, and you can't get jobs without an address. You can't get healthcare without an address. You can't get pretty much anything without an address. So a lot of folks that work full-time jobs and are doing everything that they can to survive still live in their cars. So I really believe that it's something we can do fairly easily, and it's even cheaper than allowing folks to go homeless. A lot of the programs that are put in place when it comes to housing first and programs that address housing for communities in need actually end up cheaper than addressing the costs associated with homelessness.
Absolutely. We hear that often here that and so I don't know why this is not done already. That we hear that often here that the cost to try to help folks that's unhoused is more than what it would take to make sure folks have what they need. Like
the same is true for healthcare.
Yeah. Now, in Henderson, where the median home value is now over $400,000, and home ownership is a big part of the community, many residents are feeling priced out and stressed thin. How would you address rising housing costs while still encouraging growth and keeping neighborhoods stable?
Well, during the crash in 2008, we had a lot of homes go into foreclosure. And when that happened, a lot of private equity companies, out of state investors snatched up all these houses and are now running them from a state away. And when you are a tenant of a private equity lender in another state, you're just a number on a piece of paper. And they have no qualms raising your rent every year. They have no face to attach to the person that they are kicking out on the street. I really want to limit private equity purchasing of housing. I want to limit Airbnb purchasing of housing. I really believe that if you're going to buy a large amount of housing in the community, that you have to either sell it after a certain amount of time, or we can have caps on how long you can own that property to make a profit, and then you have to sell it. I really don't believe that we should be piecemealing our neighborhoods off to private equity.
Yeah,
that's I'm really sure what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of realtors are buying them properties for Airbnb right now. Which is keeping people out of home ownership, right?
Right. Well, meanwhile, a mom that might be able to afford that is living in her car with her 2 kids. It's definitely something that it doesn't serve the community. It only serves to make somebody else money.
Now, what do you do when, because, people say, all these grocery prices are just crazy and the gas is high. Like, what are you going to do to help fix that? What do you say that I know that you have no control over the gas prices or the grocery prices as a state assembly member. But what do you tell these people when they ask you stuff like that? Because they may not know that you don't have control over any of that.
Well, I might not have control over the gas prices, but I do have control over legislation that stops price gouging. I do have control over legislation that stops surge pricing with digital price tags. I do have control over things that individual corporations do and that we can regulate within the state.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so So what's your plan to do to bring this stuff down?
Oh yeah, I want to get rid of surge pricing. I want to get rid of price gouging. We did have a bill up in the legislature previously that failed, unfortunately, with regards to price gouging. But I believe it was bipartisan, but it was vetoed by Lombardo because that's kind of his deal. Is he likes that veto. Um, it's definitely something that we can bring back. Not only that, we can bring back more community resources for increasing things like SNAP locally at the state level. A lot of people rely on SNAP, people that you would never even imagine, veterans, the elderly, disabled. A lot of those folks rely on SNAP, and we could bolster it at the state level because it's been so deeply attacked at the federal level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, I want to remind anyone, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We enjoy engagement from the chat, from the audience. So this is what a town hall is all about, to get your questions answered. We do have questions ourselves, but we want your questions answered. So please do not hesitate to put them in the chat or request up to ask them yourself.
And if you ask the right questions, I might get a little spicy.
I know that's right. So our next topic that we're going to go over is Veterans Affairs. So as you just said, some veterans have to be on food stamps, right? SNAP benefits. You shared that you shared that after more than a decade working with senior veterans, you've seen how gaps in care and long wait times often affect them directly. What specific actions would you take at the state level to improve coordination with the VA and ensure veterans in Henderson County get faster and more reliable care?
Well, unfortunately, Nevada saw heavy cuts in the VA staffing, and a lot of our local veterans are really feeling the brunt of losing their healthcare providers in the location where they feel most comfortable going. I do believe that we can bolster care at the state level with alongside of the VA where resources have been cut. I do think that even though we have some really good 501c charities and organizations out here that help veterans, we can definitely do more. We can create grants. We can do things that help these people survive, even, because they've served our country. They've given themselves to our country. The least that we owe it to them is being able to allow them to get health care and to get food services. Now, that's something that we could address right away with state SNAP benefits. We could create state veterans health care funds. We can do these things based on what is needed at the vet. It would be something that we would have to coordinate with the VA and coordinate with local veterans organizations to find out exactly what they need. Because part of being a good ally is asking the person you're trying to ally for what they need. Absolutely. And not deciding for them.
Absolutely. That I have done probably 75 town halls at this point, and that is always my favorite answer. Ask them what they need. Don't just assume if you got all the answers and you're going to fix it because of what you think. Ask them what they need.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a big part of the problem that we're seeing when it comes to our representation is too many folks think that they have all the answers, and they've just completely stopped involving the community that voted them in to represent them. And I am not that guy. I don't like to ever make decisions by myself because they're not going to impact just me. So when it comes to a group like the veterans I'm absolutely going to coordinate with them to find out what their needs are in the community.
Now, you got about 300,000 of them in Nevada. Okay.
That's right.
And a lot of them are getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can you maybe some of them don't know what they need. So what will you offer them when it comes to mental health services, when it comes to housing, when it comes to caregivers? What do you think Nevada should be doing for the veterans?
Well, when it comes to mental health services, I feel like that's one of the primary focuses we need to have. There are no long-term mental health care facilities in Nevada, and there hasn't been for quite some time. And one of the main problems that I would have when I was working in healthcare, working in a skilled nursing facility as a discharge planner, was finding long-term mental health care for people, or finding home resources for folks once they left the hospital. I want to close those gaps. There are significant gaps between private care and the VA. I'm not going to say any names or anything because HIPAA, but I've had patients in the past that had a double below the knee amputation and they were 10 days out of surgery, and the VA is telling me to send them home without a wheelchair. These things these things should be easy, very cut and dry, but there happens to be a lot of gaps. And when our veterans are using private health care to supplement the VA, I want to close the gaps in care when it comes to those types of things. I don't want them to have to wait 8 weeks to go see their VA doctor to get a prescription for the wheelchair that they needed 8 weeks ago.
Right.
These are things that we can do right now. We can create we can create state programs that address those gaps. The same thing goes for housing. Housing first initiatives could also put veterans on priority lists for housing. We could create additional state funding for SNAP for veterans. These are all things that we can do, just nobody has done them.
Absolutely. And I'm sure they would absolutely enjoy it. I mean, like, appreciate it. And like,
Yeah.
so do you feel like Nevada or the country in a whole has done enough to make sure that the people who decided to sign up, put their lives on the line, are taken care of once they decide to retire or get out?
Not. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Okay.
I do a lot of mutual aid work in the houseless community, and a huge portion of folks that are experiencing houselessness are veterans. Veterans who didn't receive appropriate mental health care. A lot of the folks that I come across in the hospital are veterans that are struggling with care at home because they're only allotted so many home visits. There are things that kind of fall between the cracks unless you are that person experiencing that. Most people look at someone on the side of the road holding a sign. They're assuming all these things about them, but that could be someone who served in the Gulf War. That could be someone who really put their life on the line for you, and we're just leaving them behind. And it's disgraceful.
So with that being said, what is one veteran-focused program or initiative you would be most excited to expand or introduce that could make a real difference for those veterans and their families?
Housing first. Housing first would
Housing.
make a huge difference for a lot of these folks on the streets. Many of them are veterans. Many of them are working Americans. Housing first would.
And what does that look like? Is that
A
Is that
Housing First program.
is that mhm.
Housing First programs would take available housing either through foreclosures or bank acquired and repurpose them for community programs like putting folks in housing and then allowing them to do paperwork um, to kind of build up their life while they have a house. Oh, how cute. Sorry.
So like is it going to be like a border, or each person will get their own space?
I mean, and ideally, I think each person should be able to have their own space. We did try tiny homes. We did try tiny home communities out here in Nevada, but they ran into a lot of like zoning problems when it came to the tiny houses. And it seemed to be a source of contention between the folks that wanted the program to go forward and the folks that were more concerned about zoning issues. So I think ideally giving people their own space is a way to make them feel comfortable enough to step back out into society. And again, these are things that would cost less than our current structure.
Absolutely. Now, who's
Yeah.
practicing?
My son is playing the trumpet.
Tell him play. Since we talking about the veterans, tell him play. What is it? The
Taps.
bugle boy, the taps. No, not taps. It's the bugle boy, the bumpity beat. I
Oh,
don't know what that means.
yeah.
What is that called? I forgot. Y'all help me
The
out in
Boogie
the
Woogie
comments.
Bugle Boy.
The bugle boy, yeah, that one. All right. So, Tamara, we're gonna do our second round table. I mean, not round table, rapid fire. And
Okay.
this one is a little more fun. So not
Okay.
so political. So first question. Would you rather text or call?
Text.
Okay. Would you rather a bouquet of flowers or a potted plant?
A bouquet, because I'll probably kill the potted plant.
Me too. Are you going glamping or sorry, glamping or camping?
Probably camping. I was raised that the dirtier your feet are, the closer you are to God.
I knew you were going to say camping.
Yeah.
Give me the RV with the big TV, okay? Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Fries or onion rings?
Probably fries.
Okay.
But they got to be the right kind.
What's the right kind of fries?
Shoestring, a little floppy, extra seasoning.
You we can eat together, girl. That is my kind of fry right there. I promise you. Your wings. Would you rather them fried or grilled?
Fried and boneless, because I'm a weenie. I can't sit there and pick them off like my husband can.
So fried it is. What is your favorite Basque?
My favorite. Say that again.
Basque. Apparently, that's a major dish in Nevada. Everyone eats Basque. A type of Basque. It's spelled Basque.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go find out.
What? They said this is the dish of Nevada. Like everyone eats that. Basque is like
Is it like a soup?
A soup, yes. And you make it all kinds of ways. So,
girl, I'm always in the Mexican food, so I don't step too far out.
Okay.
Oh, see, he's playing the national anthem for you now.
I hear him. Thank you, sir. Where was your favorite buffet? Because Nevada's also known for their buffets.
Oh my gosh. My favorite buffet was at the Orleans. The Orleans was my favorite for sure. Oh, but we really liked the Fiesta because it was almost always empty.
So we gonna get all the food, right?
Yeah.
What amount? How many shrimp need to be in your shrimp cocktail?
At least 4. And they
At
gotta be
least
big
4.
ones. Yeah. They
I
can't be
need at
the
least
little
6.
baby. They gotta be big, you know.
And the big ones. I need at least 6.
Right.
Now, are you a true rebel or a ram?
I'm a rebel. I'm
You are a
UNLV
rebel.
rebel. Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
am. And in my regular life too. Like I say rabble rouser on here because I can't say stir.
You can say a shit starter. Yes, you can. But she thinks she's the rabble rouser. Okay, y'all?
I am a little. But it's all good trouble. It's all good trouble. You know, nothing. I never stir a pot that doesn't need to be stirred, is the point. You know,
So it don't stick.
that's
I
right.
know that's right. All right. So our last topic. And thank you for that, Miss Rose. I appreciate it. I love doing this. I love talking to the candidates. I love making sure their messages get out. So it always gives me great energy to do it. So our last topic is getting money and corruption out of politics.
Yes.
We know how horrible that is. Again, I'm still trying to figure out why that has not happened. I believe every candidate I've ever heard come in there and say, we need to get money out of politics. And then they get in there and no money comes out of politics. So on your website, you talk about overturning Citizens United and rejecting dark money because you believe everyday people are being left behind when wealthy interest dominates politics.
Mm-hmm.
At the state level, what concrete steps would you take in Nevada to limit the influence of big money in elections and increase transparency for voters?
Well, we have quite a big problem with APAC here in Nevada. Many of our elected leaders receive APAC money, and I've seen how it changes how things move through the legislature. So I've committed myself not to take APAC money or money from large corporate PACs. I think something that we can do to kind of alleviate money in politics is bring in ranked choice voting. I really think that it's something that will kind of level the playing field for candidates that might not have as much money as some of the bigger names out here. And ranked choice voting is a way to allow Nevadans to kind of see what their options are and not necessarily get a fire hose of the candidates with the most money that made it through the primary. So it wouldn't be as bad if I didn't actively see it in the legislation that moves through. But it's so clearly impacting what gets passed or why it gets passed or what gets vetoed. The money in politics is really obscene, and especially out here, the Adelsons gave Donald Trump a significant amount of money, both of his presidencies, and they're like a staple here in Nevada. Wow. So we've got these big billionaire donors in our state. So I really think bringing in something like ranked choice voting would really even the playing field when it comes to big dollar dynamics.
Absolutely. So in Nevada, more than 45% of the voters are registered as nonpartisan or unaffiliated, which suggests that many people feel disconnected from traditional political systems. Now, how would your campaign finance reform help build trust and make those voters feel like their voices matter more than the large donors? And that is like equally important, because if they aren't affiliated with a certain party, then they are less likely to they will be more likely to go with what you're saying. Like, yeah, get this money out of here. We're not backing these people who are only trying to help, this party or that party and influence things. So how are you going to do that?
Well, I'll be genuine with you. I probably fit more in the lines of the nonpartisan voter than the Democratic voter. I was an independent all the way until 2016 when I worked on Bernie's first campaign. I was a Democrat from 2016 forward. I tumbled around in my brain if I was going to run as an independent or if I was going to run as a Democrat, because a lot of the folks in my community have felt left behind by the Republicans and the Democrats, myself included. Being somebody that's worked in with legislature and a lot of folks that you believe to be on your side are sometimes the biggest roadblocks to things you want to get going through. So, I think I can build trust by empathy. I am in the same boat as them. I am a registered Democrat, but I'm also a Democratic Socialist. I work with DSA out here in Las Vegas, and a lot of things that are a lot of really good candidates never make it through because we have a two-party system that doesn't allow them to move forward. I am running with the Democrats because I really feel like this district is ready for a flip, and I think the Democratic Party is the most viable vehicle for that. But there's a lot more that we can do that we haven't, and a lot of these people, they don't identify with either Republicans or Democrats.
I honestly, and I'm with you on that, Tamara, because honestly, I feel like this time in American history is the time for independent leadership to actually come out of the woodworks. But it's still not going to happen because folks are so afraid of it's either this or that. So I have to go into one of these labels. And I don't know why. I don't know if no, I have never, I be on TikTok all the time. I have never heard so many people say, I'm neither. Or the whole two sides, two wings of the same bird. Two sides of the same corn. Whatever the slogan is. It is rampant right now of people, they say they not only do they not 100% agree with either side that or what either side is known for. Let me say that.
Right.
They don't completely fit into that mold. It will not allow people just not to pick to say I'm independent. I don't go with either labels. But now is the time, and all my life, I'm 49. You said you 40, I'm 49. And so I remember being young, 20-some years old, saying, why we gotta have these two parties? Why can't there be a third party for people like me who just agree about it all? Like, I am a socialist. I think we should help people, but I also believe in capitalism. Like, in a way, meaning that you should be able to get your own business, charge what you want to charge, make a profit off of it. Like, I believe in that too. So I'm somewhere in the middle here, like most of Americans.
Yes.
And yet we still are not going to truly get behind that person that says, I'm neither side. It's bad.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. There's a clear difference between the two parties. One party
definitely
is a Christian nationalist, white supremacist, genocidal party. We cannot ignore that. However, it is very difficult to kind of fall in line with the other party when they're voting for Trump's bills, for example. These things are difficult for everyday people to understand. You know, why, how is that supporting me? You know what I mean? So I feel like it is our role as new Democrats, new leaders, new progressives coming into the party. It is our role to kind of rebuild that trust with the Democratic Party. And I think we can do it because one thing I've noticed about most progressives is, you know, we're not afraid of a fight. We don't really.
Maybe we should change the name. Maybe we should change the name to the Progressive Party and no longer the Democratic Party. They changed the names back in the day. We had the Whig Party, which was from the Federalist Party, which then turned into the Republican Party. They changed the names back then. We should change the name today. It is now the Progressive Party. We claiming it today, Tamara. We are claiming it today.
Well, you'd find a lot of folks in that party would leave if you called it progressive, unfortunately. And that, I think that's part of the problem, you know, is we can't look at progressives as the bad guys who are trying to upend the system. We have to look at them as the future. We have to look at folks like us as the new blood that the system needs. And we need to support progressives, and we need to support new people, young people coming into government and these elective roles, because it starts in the community. No person in a boardroom, no person in a legislature is going to be more powerful than 300,000 residents. You know, and this is why things like public pressure campaigns work.
Absolutely. Now, you've emphasized being a working class candidate, and we can tell you are. Your son is in the background practicing his trumpet. That's a beautiful thing. You are a working mom. Like, that's who we need, right? But you also talk about refusing contributions that don't align with your community interests from a positive perspective. How do you think changing how campaigns are funded could actually improve policy outcomes for families?
In so many ways. If candidates don't have to take money from large corporations or private equity or the realty lobby, if they don't have to take these funds, they are beholden to nobody. That's part of what makes independents and progressives and DSA people makes us so dangerous in the political system, is because we are not beholden to anybody. We can make our own choices. We can push forward legislation that we believe is best for our communities and not for our donors. A lot of legislation that you see moving around is something that was a bug in somebody's ear before the election, and it was attached to a donation. Do you know what I mean? And we can't do that to ourselves, because we're cutting off our ability to govern if we're allowing this money to get in the way that it has taken over so much. We are no longer making decisions based on the needs of the people. We're making decisions based on the needs of our donors, and that needs to stop.
But Tamara, I always say that, it's so easy for, you candidates who are running grassroots to say, oh, we need to get the money out of here. I won't take this money from anyone, because honestly, you're not there yet. And no one's actually coming to you asking you this. So how can you guarantee the people that if elected and when elected, and you're in that house and you now have a seat at the table, that you will not be corrupted by the money, that you will not, once these donors say, oh, well, Tamara got everybody's ear, because you said it yourself. You said you are a good convincer. So once they realize you are the one that can convince the people in there to vote a certain way, they're coming after you. They say you're the one with the influence. So let's offer her a little bit of this and say, hey, we're gonna We're going to make sure her district gets whatever they need. And we're going to give her this money. And then she's going to have to make sure we good. How can you convince us that won't happen?
Well, this is a personal thing for me. I'm a deep believer in karma. I don't do anything that I feel will impact my karmic balance in the universe. And taking money from people who don't want to serve the people would definitely influence my karma. But not only that, I'm coming in with a reputation that already exists among the people that I'm a community organizer with. So the expectation is already there that this is who I'm going to be, and this is what you see is what you get. And in fact, for me to do anything outside of that would be out of character for me at this point. Just based on my reputation that I'm coming in with.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Well, we about at the end of this, okay? You did good because I got through pretty much most of my questions, so you did really good.
And nothing too spicy.
Is there anything that you would like to address or talk about that we did not cover tonight?
I just really feel like it's important that we let these progressive leaders in and we allow them to lead, to make changes for their own future. Because so many people in the legislature, so many people in places of power are not planting trees for the future generations to sit under. And I feel like we've lost the plot. Do you know what I mean? Why are we here if not to make things better for the future? So I really, as somebody who has fought back against, being pushed out of the political system because I am a progressive, because I am kind of loud, because I kill legislation, being pushed out of those spaces makes you want to get a seat at that table even more, because they wouldn't be trying to stop you if you weren't doing something meaningful.
Oh, well, we got a question before we go, but I have one question real quick. What is your limit? How many terms are you willing to do or not do? What's your limit on your terms?
Well, I mean, I'd like to go for at least 2 or 3 terms. I'd like to be in there long enough to see some of the policy that I put through actually come to fruition and see how it impacts the community, because everything is a moving target. We could put forward a bill and it could not play out the way that we want it to play out, or it could go into place and it might not have the benefits that we thought it might have. I'd like to be in a place where I could turn around and I could make adjustments to the policy that I do put in. Would I be there for over a decade? I don't know about that. I feel like the most important job for me is to get people ready to take my place.
Excellent. Excellent. Miss Esquire, thank you for coming to the panel. You have a question for Tamara?
Hello, good evening, all. Hi, Tamara. Yes, I do have a question for you. And it's related to the question that was just asked by Miss ButterMel. So I worked in politics before, and one of the things that I do notice is when you have a fresh new candidate or elected official that is moving the needle, that you'll find the establishment will put a lot of money into campaigning against this elected official to make them a one-termer. And we know as soon as you get in, your biggest job is getting reelected, right? So you got to keep it. It's like an ever-going campaign. My question then is, if that happens to you, where you're getting this pushback because of your stance, and it's not for the establishment, would you then succumb to the pressure and compromise, or would you be willing to give up your seat?
Well, lucky for me, I've been in this situation already numerous times here locally. So I have never been one to kind of give up my seat, give away my seat at the table. Lucky for me, there are numerous progressives running right now. So, part of the plan here amongst us all is to try and get as many of us in as possible to have some leverage in the assembly. And not only that, not only having the leverage, but also using things like public pressure, which we use as organizers all the time, very effectively too. I think that's one thing that a lot of the legislatures that are in power right now, they don't utilize. They don't utilize public pressure of their communities. If somebody is pushing back against me on policy that I'm trying to move forward, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to educate my community on what that policy is and how it helps my community and what it's going to do for them. So many people like Melissa Hardy, I've never even seen her walking around my neighborhood, not even once. I've never seen her explain any of her policies. We have voted against things like cooling stations for the community with water and shade. Nobody has come to explain to me how that benefits anybody. Now, I know that when you give people the information and the information is accurate and transparent, they will make the right decision that benefits them the most. And that's my job going into the legislature, is trying to benefit people. If there are establishment folks that are trying to push me out because of that, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to scream and holler and make it well known what's going on, because unlike a lot of our older counterparts in politics, we cannot be bullied. And I think that's something that they're really struggling. They're stumbling on how to deal with. So
That was a great
Thank
question.
you. Thank
Great
you for
question. Thank
answering my
you.
question.
Thank you. Now, Miss Tamara, is Nevada's General Assembly or State Assembly, is it Republican led or is it Democratic
Well,
led?
it's Democratic led. And in fact, what happens in Nevada a lot is we will have a mixed legislature. So often we'll have like a Democrat majority in the legislature, the state and the assembly, and then we'll have a Republican governor, which is kind of what we have now. Like when you talk about Nevada as a purple state and a swing state, it truly is. One thing about Nevada, outside of the fact that we like to swing, we also don't like to be told what to do. So that really translates into our politics. And because we are a progressive stronghold, I really think that we're going to move that with this next incoming legislature, this next incoming assembly, we're going to move that needle. And it's going to be real hard to kind of paint us as the bad guy,
Right.
you know, because a
So
lot of
y'all, you
our
saying y'all could get the super majority in the legislature?
I mean, I feel like that would be a goal. We really need to get Lombardo out of there, because all he seems to know how to do is veto things, and come up on, you know,
Is-
corruption things, and
Is
we
the
just can't have
governor
that.
is the governor
Yes.
up for election this
Yes, ma'am.
this midterm? Because I'm in Maryland and our governor is up for election too.
Yes, he's
so
up
yeah.
for election, and he has two good challengers. So
Okay, well send them this way. We gonna
I
let us
will.
push
Yeah,
them out.
absolutely.
Look, I promise you. Send them. So find out if they have TikTok pages. If they do, share it with OVC, with our vote counts, and we will do the rest of the work. Just share them with us.
Well, and there are also two other DSA members running, and I can give you their information as well. They were endorsed as they are running against primary candidates, establishment primary candidates. I was not endorsed, as my race is probably an easier get And DSA endorsements are not just on paper. Like they throw their whole weight behind the candidate. So they have to really pick and choose very carefully who they endorse. So although I didn't receive the endorsement, I stand by their endorsement process, and I'll make sure I give their information to you.
Absolutely. Just send it, inbox it to our vote counts, and like I said, we let the machine do what the machine do.
That's right. That's right.
I appreciate this conversation tonight. It's been such a pleasure. I wish you all the luck in Nevada. It's one of the states that I feel like forgot about until somebody say Vegas, and then it's like, oh yeah, now live Nevada, right?
Well, politically, we're very spicy. Like politically, we really turn it up, and we've really stirred the pot quite a lot. Progressives here in Nevada, so it's all for good. All for good. It just means we're moving in the right direction.
All right. Let everyone know how they can find you, how they can support you, all your medias. Let the people know where they could get your information.
Well, I have a website. My website is Tamara, 4nv.com. You can go and donate there. You can volunteer. We have upcoming canvases if you live locally, and then we have upcoming phone banks if you don't live locally. So you don't have to live in Nevada to volunteer for the campaign. And on top of that, these things are expensive. Part of the reason I want to get money out of politics is I can't barely afford to run. It's very expensive to run an election. So, and I'm up against candidates who have family names and family money. So, it's definitely something that I'm trying to boost some donations. Please sign up for a phone bank, sign up for a canvas if you live locally. Come find me, come talk to me. Tell me what you want to see change in your community, because that's why I'm here. It can't be just the Tamara show. It has to be the Assembly District 22 show. So
excellent. Y'all heard that? Assembly District 22. It's y'all show, okay?
We got to be knocking them doors. We got to be making them phone calls. We got to be getting them donations, because I'm up against family money. I'm up against a family name. My opponent somebody in her family member was the mayor of Boulder City. So, and she's been in place for years and years and years. So I'm really like, it's David and Goliath up in here. So
that nepotism never fails, does it?
It's gross.
I know. Well, again, I thank you for coming and hanging out with us today, letting the people know where you stand and what you plan on doing. Yes. And if you would like to support Miss Tamara, please don't hesitate. Nevada needs the blue people too. Okay. I know they say they purple, but we want to turn it as blue as possible. Other places we trying to turn blue is this place right here, Kentucky. Okay. We are trying to turn Kentucky blue too. So we're going to have Miss Sherilyn Stevenson on here tomorrow at 5:00. So if you are in Kentucky's Congressional District 6, or know someone who is, come on through here tomorrow at 5:00 Eastern Standard Time and talk and listen to Miss Sherilyn Stevenson. Now, if you need something a little later, at 8:00, we're going to be talking to Congressional District 48 in California. We're going to be talking to Mr. Porter here. I think it's Ferguson, if I'm not wrong. Porter. His last name is Mr. Porter, because I can't see it on the screen. But we're going to be talking to him tomorrow at 8:00. So make sure y'all come tune in tomorrow. We are doing a double header. Miss Tamara, every other Sunday we do a round table. And the round table is candidates that we've had come on the show. Whether it's this week, last week, or 3 weeks ago, we invite them back, have a conversation. Y'all could do some brainstorming. You might get some ideas from somebody in Iowa. They may get some ideas from you. I'm making sure that everyone our goal is to make sure that, we all on the same page. We cannot go in here with different messages, different thoughts, different plans. We have to get on the same plan in order for this to work. So we do our roundtables every other Sunday. We have one coming this Sunday, so look for your invite for that. Now, if anyone out there, your son even, Miss Tamara, okay, if you want to be a part of the solution, DM us. We are looking for moderators. That is what I am. I am a moderator. I moderate the town hall. Ask the candidates the questions. We are looking for moderators because we are booked we are booking for June as we speak.
I bet.
So we need moderators to help us with this problem that we are the solution for. Okay, we're going to make sure these messages get out here. And if you are not in our Discord, please join the Discord. I appreciate each and every one of you all for being here tonight. I think my OVC host is ready to go. So let me remind you all of who we are. We are Our Vote Counts, a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity like Ms. Tamara here, and ensure that every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, accountability, and action, we're building a stronger democracy, one informed vote at a time. So make sure you keep joining us. Bring some more people along with you, because your vote is your power. I appreciate you all.
Local politics matter, everybody. Local politics matter. It matters.
Absolutely.
It matters.
Absolutely.
It matters.